You are watching the number one podcast in the whole entire YouTube wrestling community, and I'm one of your hosts, Juanzo.
And I'm your other host, Jean-Paul Leek.
Together we are. And it's Wednesday, so it's time to talk about AEW Dynamite. It was the 100th episode. How quick, like all these weeks went by, and now we have also 100 episodes of AEW Dynamite. And I didn't think that we were going to give such a shitty show, but yeah, they did. They did.
And you know what that means? That means there's at least 100 videos in the Rope Break archives of AEW. So
it is true, though. It is true, because like Jean-Paul at the beginning was the first one that started out doing Dynamite. Then, you know, I kind of like, he invited me, I came along and all of that, but like we've been covering this show or for its entirety so far. You know, it was supposed to be the go-home show for All Out. You know, not a good Dynamite. No, every single match ends with interference. You know, like, is never serious. You know, like, in the opportunities you can cash in with good storytelling, you don't do it. You leave a lot of, like, the stuff for Rampage. And I don't know if a lot of people are going to be watching Rampage, but, you know, Paul, very disappointing Dynamite.
Yeah, you know, these last two nights of wrestling, sometimes they can deliver really good shows. This week, I think both of them shit the bed. I think both of them really bad shows, you know, and for a lot of the same reasons, like stuff at the beatdowns after the matches, storylines that don't make sense, feuds that don't make sense. And, you know, speaking of NXT, Vince McMahon, Bruce Pritchard taking over. So, you know, is it going to get any worse or get any better? You know, I think we all know the answer to that. But, you know, no. But this Dynamite, it didn't do much to excite me. Some of the promos were good. Some of the parts of segments were good. But just overall, just no.
It is a bad one. So, you know, let's start dissecting everything before we just want to say thank you for everybody that is watching the show, that keep us alive. Thank you. You know, we're going to have All Out. We're going to have, like, we're going to be live, you know, every single thing that happens. You know, we're going to be talking about during the show. We're going to be mentioning a lot of surprises that are happening. So, you know, stick with it, you know, enjoy the ride. And, you know, let's start, Paul, with, like, you know, FTR against Santana and Ortiz. This was supposed to be the last match. A lot of rumors that FTR might be leaving AEW. Their contract is almost up. You know, so, like, this was something that it kind of like signified like something more than just the match also. But like you said, out of all the show, this was actually the best thing.
This because, you know, the feud was serious. These guys, you know, they took everything so serious. You saw Santana and Ortiz. They did the face paint. This is only the second time they did it. They said the other time was blood and guts. So you can tell these guys, it's like they do the face paint when they go to...
Or them big matches, yes.
Yeah, I think they might have also done it in the street fight, you know, with the best friends too. So like they do it just in the big matches. And, you know, this was really good. You know, obviously Dax did a lot of the stuff in there. Cash came in. It's like, oh, you know, how's the arm? And they attacked the arm and stuff. You know, he sold it good and everything. They did the spot on Santana and Ortiz, which I believe it was Santana. You know, they threw him over the top, like how Cash got thrown over. And they're like, oh, this is the same spot where, you know, Cash, you know, got his arm sliced open. And, you know, like lots of good moves and stuff. And obviously
Shattered Dreams, you know, that was good also. Yeah, we got to see like a lot of interactions between the two. But in the end, you know, the three amigos every time, really. Frog Splash, I'm tired of it. You know, can every other Latino do anything besides that? I hate it. I hate it because, oh, in the memory of Eddie Guerrero. Who the fuck, you know, who? Del Rio? Oh, yeah, okay. You know what I mean? It's like the same stuff every time. But in the end, like you said, at least Santana and Ortiz get the win after like a big combination of cutters, code breaker, super kick, and then they did a move that like rolled the one guy like down and slammed them. 1, 2, 3, they get the win. Finally, these guys actually, you know, get something. So, like you said, maybe they are in, we don't know yet, like kind of quote unquote, like the number one contenders, but at least they got a meaningful win this time. Good for Santana and Ortiz.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I was actually hoping FTR would have won. But, you know, if the rumors are true that they are actually leaving, well, then they did the right thing. Obviously, put this team over on your way out. You know, their entrance jackets had Grand Slam champs. It had a red star for Raw, blue for SmackDown, yellow for NXT, and then gold for AEW. So you saw the stars on their jacket. So maybe that means, hey, you know, we're going to keep adding to this jacket. We need to add more stars. Maybe they're going to go to other different companies and something. So, I mean, the match was good. I just really want to see, like you said, whoever wins this cage match, this is your number one contender. You know, so I would honestly say at this point, the Bucks retain. I'd love to see the Bucks versus Santana and Ortiz. And, you know, if anybody's going to beat them, it's going to be
Santana and Ortiz. Will do a lot of justice. Oh, but also the Lucha Bros. But, you know, one of the two, it will be really cool. So that was a great start for Dynamite. Now, you know, CM Punk. Like, of course, Chicago, that was like this where the show was taking place. So they're going to cash in on CM Punk. He came out. He actually mentioned, he's like, it seems like a lot of you might be getting tired of this. It's not that we're getting tired of it, but it's just like he needs to have matches because it's just him coming out. I don't know how many more.
I wouldn't even say like. I mean, I agree. You know, obviously you want to see the wrestler wrestle, But if he said only 10 to 12 matches a year, you're not going to see him wrestle every show, or it's only going to be when it's important. But that's why you don't have him on every show.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's not like he is a ratings draw because he was that first show. And then we saw some of the other shows, but they really, it's not like they're doing 1.5 million, 2 million. It's not like, oh man, he's bringing in the viewership. He is the best guy on the show. He cuts the best promo. The crowd reacts to him the most. The pop wasn't as big as his debut, but it was a good pop. And, they do like him. But I think if you put him on every show, it's going to get quieter.
It's going to be less and less, and but he says he loves the love, he appreciates it, all of that. But then we got to see Ever Rise or 2.0 and Garcia like jumping into him. He tried to defend himself. He actually hit the GTS, so we haven't seen that in a long time. We've seen other people hitting it, but not CM Punk. But then Sting and Darby Allin come out, and this completely ruined it for me. I don't know what's the intention of all of this. I don't like it at all. But, the fact that, Sting gets in the middle of this and then he's talking, the mano a mano, like you said, what was that, Paul? Like mucho suerte or something like that?
No. Well, I mean, yeah, let's back it up just a little bit. I mean, the one thing I didn't like is why you have CM Punk jobbing for these guys. Why did they come out and interrupt him? Why are no refs or authorities being like, oh, let's protect CM Punk? He's the most over guy that we have. Until we get Daniel Bryan, CM Punk's all we got. We got to protect him. But no, this was all done just so they can come out here to hype up the match. Why couldn't CM Punk just cut the promo? Darby Allin come out, they have the face-to-face, and then that's it. That would have been so much better. You didn't need 2.0. You didn't need Garcia. You didn't need all this. But no, Sting's like, I have mucho respect for you, man. I would have loved to wrestle you, but, it's not about that right now. It's like Sting, why are you here?
That's my point. My point is that exactly he ruins everything just because he's old. He shouldn't be fighting, and if he is, he should not be in the middle of all of this. He has no place, no role in this.
Sting was super over, but he was in matches with Flair, matches with guys like that, and then he was really over when he didn't talk for an entire year.
Thank you. He talks, ruins it. Thank you.
He's not like
all for this. Promo. That's how it should end, no Sting, you don't need, I'm not going to be.
But like you said, they did hit all their finishers. I mean, the go to sleepy hit, it wasn't bad. I don't know if it Garcia or whoever just didn't take it too well, but I was like, it looked all right. But I mean, this is good. I'm looking forward to this match, even though we won't say them, but there are spoilers out there for people who want to know, supposed spoilers. But, I'm looking forward to the match.
Exactly. No, you're right. Absolutely right. So we'll see what happens. But then we got to see a promo by MJF. MJF at least makes it more believable. MJF enhances the show. He's a good heel. He knows what he needs to say, how he needs to say it, the tone that he needs to use it to deliver the lines. Why? Because then I'm convinced that he is actually saying with conviction. And that's the one thing that a lot of guys lack here. When he mentions all the names of Jericho, he said that of all the accolades, but everything that he has, he's going to take the torch from him. So, I love this. I know you loved it also.
Yeah, I mean, this was a great promo. Like you said, everything MJF says, you actually believe that he believes it. He's not a guy reading from a script. He's not a guy pretending he's someone else. MJF is MJF. It is a gimmick. He's not like a prick, probably to, in real life, but he sells his gimmick. So he is a prick to you in real life. And that's why he's legit, because he just lives the character, because it's not a character. He believes everything he says. Promos go like when he's like, oh, call me the stepdad because I'm going to, step in your shoes. I'm taking over, pretty much replacing Chris Jericho as the best ever. All this stuff.
Exactly.
This is good. And he honestly needs to win. And I think he will.
Hopefully he does. Yes, exactly. So let's go to something that is completely uninteresting, boring, unnecessary, and everything that you can put more adjectives here, because Orange Cassidy against Jack Evans, the match doesn't even start. Matt Hardy's already jumping him. So that completely done. It doesn't make sense. How you gonna present these two guys at least in a credible way when they already the bigger name is already jumping the guys? Also, during the commercial break, Orange Cassidy gets the win, so they have to replay that. So that doesn't make any sense. Then we get to see Matt Hardy's all the guys come out from his faction. Then you get to see Luchasaurus, Jungle Boy, Jurassic Express coming out, so it becomes a big clusterfuck. I don't like it. I don't know why they need to do this for every single segment. What's the point of this? I don't understand.
I have nothing else to add. If I was doing this review by myself, I would have said match opened with a jump start. It ended during a commercial break. a big brawl afterwards. Does anybody care? No. Moving
Thank
on.
you. Exactly.
That's
So move on.
Yeah.
Eddie Kingston with Miro, this is good because again, these guys are serious. And Eddie Kingston on the mic, he might be a little ghetto, yes. He might be, a little bit out there, but like everything that like when he says stuff, it's actually hurtful. It's like the power of the words are really good. I enjoy that. And he says, well, like you're like God's favorite champion. Well, I'm gonna kill you, and then you're gonna go to your God's heaven or something like that. So cool. I enjoy that. Like Miro replied to that also. So I know that like when it comes to Eddie Kingston by himself and cutting promos, he's one of the best on AEW. We gotta admit.
Oh yeah, and obviously, they've sold Eddie Kingston as a fighter. He's a tough guy, like a street brawler, but you can't take him down. Like it takes a lot to keep him down. And Miro is like this ultimate fighting machine, this Bulgarian, wrestling freak. So this is like, almost like Eddie Kingston's like the Rocky Balboa. And it's like, nobody thinks he has a shot. Who is he? He's a bum, but, he has that heart of a lion. He's going to go in there. That's why I think this match is good. I'm not saying they're going to drop it to Kingston, but I feel this is one of the first guys in a while where, hey, if they would drop it, this would actually be kind of badass.
Outside of Lance Archer, there you go, credible opponent. There, with this guy, so it's going to be good. And especially finally, they split up Moxley and Kingston because that tag team was going nowhere. It was going like nobody cared where they were going. And let's hear from Le Champion. Like Jim Ross was right there. I thought it was supposed to be just like an interview, somewhere else, but it was supposed is the interview turned out to be more like a promo. So Jericho just mentions that like all his career, he's like he's never been complacent. He wants to like beat MJF. That has to be something that he cannot live if he doesn't do that. And he's like, Roy's or like welcome to AEW Jericho, something like that. So like you said, like he was sounding more like MJF forced me to do this, and I'm like, I'm the one that is putting my career on the line. So like the beverage of this should be more like, I know I did this because I know I can beat you, instead of like how we was saying it. But not a lot of like expecting from this. It's a repetition of like a few weeks ago, so no interest in here.
Yeah, no, the first time when he cut a promo like this, he's like, it was almost, if I can't beat you, MJF, then I don't deserve to be here. It's like, okay, yeah, then that's why, you're putting a career on the line. But then this promo, like you said, it was almost like MJF said, you want the match with me, you have to put your career on the line. And he's like, oh, you're not going to take it from me. MJF, when he beat you in the labors of Jericho, MJF was done.
So he didn't want Jericho anymore.
So this is all Jericho's fault. So if he loses, the only person he has to blame is himself. So this,
we wanted this. He demanded it.
This to me was shit. I didn't like it. And I like, you had Jim Ross was like, but whether it was a work or a shoot, he's like crying in the beginning, really trying to sell it. But I could care less.
It was bad. What kind of made it good is like this promo, aside of like what we saw already with Darby Allin and CM Punk. This was actually good because Darby Allin is like, hey, 7 years ago, like my favorite wrestler was CM Punk. 7 years later, CM Punk is saying that I'm his favorite wrestler. So you see like already like why they're doing this match. You see the correlation between the two. And he said, well, my challenge is really big because I had to beat CM Punk in Chicago. So it's going to be really good. And like you said, there's a lot of spoilers. Like we could mention a little bit, we can just hint them. But at least the promo word, if this would have been the only thing that you show me, I would have been so much soul in the match rather than the stuff that like with Sting and everything. That's how you treat a feud. These two guys just talking about themselves. Am I right?
Yeah, this was really good. And like the line he said was good. Yeah, CM Punk, you were my favorite wrestler when I was 7. Just like you said, if you were a kid, I would be your favorite wrestler. And, so like you said, they compliment each other with that. He's like, but you said you have a list of people that you're looking to wrestle, looking to go through. And he's like, why am I number 1 on your list? Am I like the easiest? Like, do you just like overlook me? He's like, I should be the last person on your list. I should be the final one, you prove yourself against. So he kind of took it like it's, they're good, they respect each other, but a little bit of like, all right, like, what do you think? I'm level 1? You think I'm the noob?
Exactly. Like, let's make it serious here. Yeah, don't take me so lightly. Yeah, that's what it was. So good stuff. I really like this. We got to see Malachi Black. He's gonna have a match also, like in what it is Rampage against Jones. Remember, we saw like the interaction between the two. He said that like he's the next in line. Malachi Black, hey, they're building credibility. They're feeding the guys.
It should be 2 minutes and done.
Exactly. I want 2 minutes and the black mass and done. That's it. That's it. So that's fine. That's all we had to mention on Malachi Black. So now let's go about like this. It was a promo here all like, like I think it was like QT Marshall and all of them were having just a promo work. They call out the Big Show. The Big Show comes out. He starts taking care of all of the members of what is the Factory? I think it's called the name.
Yeah, the Factory.
Yeah, the Factory. There you go. Like so, like that's why like they take care of all of them. Big Show seems legit. Billy Gunn and his group come out. Billy turns out on the Big Show. I'm like, okay, well, WWE Raw. I'm going back to 2000. 21 years later, they're still feuding. So I don't like this. I didn't like this at all. And the only reason they did it is just to like also help out QT Marshall. All of those guys had to like lift the Big Show up so he could hit the Diamond Cutter. Absolutely god awful. Who in the hell thinks that this is good? I don't know like what kind of wrestling fan are you if you actually appreciate this. No reason why the Big Show needs to have a match with QT Marshall. Neither QT Marshall.
I'm going to be honest. When he started beating him up and then Billy Gunn, I would have taken that over seeing him and QT on the pay-per-view.
I would much rather see,
no pun intended, but Billy's a lot more badass than QT is. So.
And Billy in better shape. Billy still can go, legit. But, we got to get QT with the Big Show out all out. That also, you mentioned that too.
QT, I think's on the writing staff, so I think that has a lot.
He held down himself on that, but absolutely terrible. Those are the segments that are way comparable to Monday Night Raw, and then we're not going to say Raw is better or AEW is better. Both of them suck. That's how we can compare and be truthful to both. Britt Baker signed like his she prolonged her contract, so that was good.
Doesn't Reba look like Nikki Bella?
Oh yeah. Looking like you cannot touch. But like she mentions that because of like her contract extension, like she actually Tony Khan allow her to just pick a match, and she picked like Reba and also like Hayter. They're gonna go against Chris Statlander. That's gonna be 2 against 1. It's gonna be a handicap match, and that's gonna happen on Rampage. So I mean, like the feud, no reason whatsoever. I mean, no really confrontation between the two, no interactions, no words, very lightly taken about this feud. Why? Because Britt Baker's gonna go over. There's no other reason.
And also, how weak does this make Britt Baker look? She's supposed to be this dominant, badass champion. She already has a muscle, plus she has a manager / helper, and then so it's a 3-on-1. That makes like Chris Statlander look like she's a badass. This is stupid. It should just be Statlander just beating the shit out of her. Thanks for coming. And
obviously, the one again, Britt Baker's
good. Is she the opponent at the pay-per-view?
Who is Statlander? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, then obviously, she's going to go over somehow in this. So that's it. So it kills. Reba's the fall person. That's fine. If it would have just been 1-on-1 with her.
But Hayter.
Like whatever. But Hayter, are you trying to get her over?
Why are you haters of Hayter? Why do they hate Hayter? I don't get it. Yeah. I don't understand it at all. Women's match, Tay Conti, Penelope Ford. Also, Tay Conti, Paul, in like 3-4 years, she's going to be a badass wrestler because I see bits of like good sequences. She has her background in Taekwondo, Kung Fu, all of that, Japanese Jiu-Jitsu, all of that, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, all of that. So you see that, she has the potential like to keep growing. She's not terrible, but
I agree. And she's marketable too because, she has a look, she's cute, but like you said, she's also badass.
So, she's cute with Marshall, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Legit. But you want to know how you get her over? You put her in the ring with like a Britt Baker or Serena Deeb or Thunder Rosa or I guess that's it for good women's wrestlers. I don't know. Just put her in the ring with those.
Hikaru. No, nobody knows where Hikaru is.
I wouldn't say Hikaru is somebody that should train. Hikaru could probably use a little training herself too, but. Putting her in a match with Penelope Ford doesn't do her any justice. Ford's not that great. She's not the worst. She's not Alexa Bliss, but she's not that great. This match went on too long. And, Anna Jay coming back was legit. And, I don't know. Because she's one who I thought was getting better, too. Anna Jay.
Oh, no, Anna Jay is good. Yeah. And if you don't believe how good she is, ask Jungle Boy. But
that's a different kind of good. That's a different kind of wrestling.
Well, you can see a little bit of cake right there. So, we always give a little bit of it. I had better pictures for the record. Unfortunately, I had to go with some other pictures. It's fine. But you know what? That's what we have. Unimportant also. What do you think? Now we're talking about the girls. Ruby Riott or is going to be debuting at the Battle Royal? That's a spoiler. We mentioned we'll give a little bit, a bit. No, there's going to be debuting there. For me, that needs to enhance that division. That's going to be a big baby face, good wrestler, and finally she can challenge like Britt Baker and be more credible than Statlander, at least for me.
Oh, yeah. I don't think her title's in danger at all. And to me, I think Ruby Riott, or I forget what her new name is.
Ruby Soho.
Yeah, she needs to win it. That like you can't have her debut in there like, oh hi, and then get like Leo Rush, fucking see you later.
Yeah.
So Leo Rush retired again for like the 8th time. He's trying to beat Terry Funk's record or something. But,
Yeah.
No, I mean she needs to win it. And like you said, boom, challenge Britt Baker. Even if she don't win it, just have a really good match, good feud. Something that we never saw from Ruby Riott.
Exactly, that would be cool. We'll see what happens. This was also more unimportant. Why this guy's still feuding? Powerhouse Hobbs going against Brian Cage. Good match. I mean, stiff. Rob the guy. Actually, I like Brian Cage. Hitting a few super kicks and all of that. But in the end, what was that? Hook gets like the pretty much distraction that allows also like Starks to beat up Brian Cage with like the belt, and then also Powerhouse Hobbs did like a Michinoku driver, very like similar to that, a big move right there, and 1, 2, 3 they get the win. Why? Because probably at All Out they're gonna add a match, and then Brian Cage is gonna win, or they're gonna do it on Dynamite. Very, very mood killer right here. I don't want to see this. I don't care for it. There's all these guys that were a group and now just feuding with each other. No, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, this is so pointless and it's on this show that it's like, this is when you want to change the channel. When you see stuff like this, you see stuff like the Orange Cassidy match. It's bad. This feud sucks. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about Hook at all. Nobody cares about Brian Cage. People like Ricky Starks because they see he has talent. Same with Hobbs, but how can you care about them when they're all involved in this? And Team Taz is like that was the biggest like bust out of like a lot of these factions. That's the one that's like, okay, these guys look legit. Taz is badass, and then just nothing.
Exactly, you're absolutely right. No, thank you. So let's go over like the matches on Rampage. Like we said, Darby Allin against like Daniel Garcia. Oh, absolutely terrible. Absolutely bad. Why are they still feuding in the middle of CM Punk? I don't understand that. Talking about CM Punk, he's going to be there also again. So probably now he's going to help that Darby Allin in it. So another one that like you keep overdoing it. No, thank you. I don't want to see it. We're going to hear from Miro. That's probably going to be the one good thing about Rampage. And we mentioned before, like the matches with Statlander, the matches with Malachi Black. And, this completely, I don't know the future about this show if you ask me in particular. But now, Paul, let's talk about a little bit of Jon Moxley. He's going to be on the Homecoming on Wednesday. And also he's going to have a match against one of like the also New Japan legends. So, we'll see what happens. I mean, we saw that match already for the United States Championship. So why are they having this match? Because they don't have Tanahashi. So am I, all sold out on this? No. It's just like, hey, Jon Moxley is on the pay-per-view because it's all out, right?
Yeah, I mean, he cut a good promo and everything about it. But like you said, we already seen it. How can you get excited?
Kojima.
Yeah.
Kojima, fought on Impact. He lost to all the Joe Doran, lost to Rhino. That's Kojima. There you go. Right there. And now we don't have anybody. Who do we bring? Oh, just make this guy. All right, let's do it. So main event, Paul. I mean, the Elite going against the Lucha Bros and Jurassic Express. This was like, very flippy, very, high risk moves. It's okay. It's fine. But the one thing like to say about it is like the upper hand, it was all for the heels all the way here. Like they had like good interaction, yes, but I hope that if it's not Santana and Ortiz, the Lucha Bros needs to win those titles. They deserve it. It's been way too long because those three were the main tag teams when AEW started. Lucha Bros, Santana and Ortiz, and the Young Bucks. So it's time to drop it to one team that was actually since the beginning of AEW for me. Like you said, really good moves, and the normal cutters, all of the stuff that we see the same. Super kicks, all of that. But in the end, the Bucks get the win. Big interference, like, AEW loves to do this clusterfuck things. Everybody comes out. I can't wait for Tony Khan to just come out, and just like finish the show like this. So what do you think, Paul? When Kenny Omega shows up, blue hair, gets the cage to come down?
No, was it blue? I thought he just dyed it like black. Maybe, maybe it was, I don't know. But no, I mean, no, the whole match sucked. Like you said, it was just flips. Nobody was selling anything. You have, they take out Jungle Boy, then he's right back up, doing big dives, taking everybody out. So, no, it didn't make sense. Obviously, the heels were going to win here. I didn't think anything like that. They start beating everybody down. Cage comes out. You think, okay, but why would he come out there when they already have all the baby faces beat up? So it's, 6-1? And he thinks he's going to come out and help his guys? No, it's not like it's an even fight. So he just gets beat up right away. They look. He's like, oh, I had a meeting with Tony Khan. Don Callis. We stole the keys to the cage when we were in your office. So lower the cage. They lower the cage. They start beating up Cage in the cage. Then they have the Lucha Bros in there. They're beating them up. People try to climb in. Jungle Boy, who comes out?
Kazarian, and all of them came out. And everybody, like, they couldn't do it because they have the candlesticks that were just bouncing and whacking
they were
them.
beating everybody up. And I mean,
and that's pretty much all heels get the upper hand. They're all celebrating. Everybody's down. We'll see Rampage, like you said, is going to be probably the turn of the baby.
This reminds me like an attitude, like how if you go, let's say, like, I don't know, a random Attitude Era pay-per-view in like 1998, 1999. This is how it would end. The Raw right before the pay-per-view, but it would be done a lot better.
Oh yeah.
Like this was like a poor man's attempt of like a Monday Night Raw go-home show from the late 90s. It was like, let's have all the heels out there beating everybody up and everybody screaming, oh my God, it's chaos. And oh my God, you got to tune in. Like JR was even doing the same pitch. You got to tune in all out. It'll be worth it, blah, blah, blah. But it just doesn't have the same feel.
And we've seen it way too many times.
And also, you can't compare these guys to a Stone Cold, to a Rock, to an Undertaker, Kane, Mankind, Triple H. You can't compare.
No, it was just poorly executed in my taste. What do you think about this? Breaking news. This match is not going. It's going to happen eventually, but it's not going. They had to take it out because Pac has some traveling issues. So why do they have this guy? And this is not a shot at Pac, okay? This is not a shot. I say this with all the respect. Why do you have a guy that is constantly going back to Europe and coming back knowing there's a pandemic and knowing that there's restrictions to be met and now these things happen?
Yeah, I mean, see, that's the thing where, remember when I always say this guy's so legit, I don't know how he's not a main eventer. Yeah, he's small, but he's so good.
That's what holds him back then.
But then it's like, well, maybe he shoots himself in his own foot. Maybe he's his own worst enemy with doing stupid shit like that because it's like, oh, this guy's a headache. I mean, I know he won't get the money and he won't get the exposure, but if you really want to wrestle in Europe and you like being there, it's home, then just stay over there. And just
NXT
come
UK.
Over here and then we're NXT UK, but he won't go back there.
I mean,
I don't know if they'll hire him back the way that he sat at home, held out, was all the...
Oh, yeah, well, like, you're right. But I mean, or like you said, stay in Europe, but like those traveling issues, so this match is not going to go, but also Daniel Bryan is going to debut on All Out. That's completely confirmed. So we're giving you the whole spoiler, the whole shebang. Ruby Riott and Daniel Bryan, so that, they're going to pull in the big guns. We'll see what happens, but we're going to be, talking about all of that at All Out. We're going to be dissecting all of this. So, family, thank you so very much for like this. We hope that we entertain you guys. That's what we try here. So don't forget to subscribe, hit that bell for notifications, and also like give the video a like so the video goes to the moon, like my Cameron Grant will say. And we're else.
Make sure you follow us on all of our social media. Rope Break on Facebook, OG Rope Break on Twitter, Original Rope Break on Instagram, Twitch, and TikTok, and of course right here on YouTube, the home of the ¡1 podcast in the YouTube wrestling community, the Original Rope Break.
NXT UK tomorrow, family. You and me have one more thing that is left to say, and that is...